thumbnail?
Yeah, I
You
thought I
put an
did.
old thumbnail? You put an old thumbnail on?
What I do is I just copy the stream schedules,
Yeah.
so I don't have to fucking mess about. Oh, hello, we're live. Hi, Rick. Hi, Dark Knight. Hi, Dylan.
Hey, hello everybody. How you doing? Hope you're well. It was my fault why we was delayed, as usual. Laptop
Boo,
issues.
Dave.
Laptop issues. Oh, guys, how you doing? As you know, as you've probably seen on the thumbnail and the title of this stream, we are talking about everything tag teams. We're going to talk through our favorite
Me,
tag
I'm the
teams.
best tag team.
Yeah, Melissa and Rose. Melissa and Rose, the best tag team
Well,
in
I
all the
was gonna be
world.
a dick and say uh, new Melissa, and then the transformation Melissa. I like being tag teamed. Different type of tag team, Melissa.
she loves to be used as a spit roast. Jesse Jack, I'm a shout out to you, dude. Yeah, obviously we're going to talk through our favorite tag teams of all time. We want you to have your say in the chat as well. Obviously we're going to be talking about all kinds of tag teams. We want your thoughts on what you think of two solo stars coming together to make a tag team, which was an old trait of Vince McMahon. Yeah, just get your thoughts in about the tag teams that are around today. Do they live up to how they did back in the day? Who's your favorite tag team now? Who do you think will be a good tag team? Who would you throw together as a tag team? It's all of this good stuff. Rick Hunter, hello to you. Sports, horror, conspiracy. Hello, dude.
I like this because you can do all the main talking. I can just sit back and like
Just
nothing.
join in whenever. I don't mind talking. That's the thing. I do have verbal diarrhea.
Dave likes the sound of his own voice.
I do have verbal iconics. Best, yeah, we'll talk about female tag teams. That's totally fine. It is a broad, very broad subject. So Nick, when you stop
Right,
playing with your phone, I'm
I'm
going to let
listening.
you put in your number 5 team tag
Right,
team
so
and
this
talk
is
about
not
it.
in order by any way because I like all these similarly. But the first one I ever thought of, right, was Rikishi. Was it Too Cool, the group?
Too cool.
Too
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Like, how can
So you
you
gone
not
with
love
too
that
cool.
group? And my camera's Oh, no, it hasn't. I just wasn't moving my mouth enough.
So too cool. So you like the dance off. You like the
Yeah.
verb.
The thing is, though,
Uh
they weren't even bad in ring.
no, Brian Christopher was and obviously Scotty Tuati were decent solo wrestlers before they joined as a tag team. The gimmicks seemed to match at that particular time. Rikishi was just thrown in. Just who doesn't like a big bottomed big guy dancing? And that's the reason why it worked. People just absolutely loved it. They slurped it up. The music was great. I enjoyed them. Actually, I even forgot about them when we were doing the list. But I'm gonna match that, and I'm gonna say this as my fifth. My fifth. I mean, mine's more in order. I'm gonna go as a youngster. I absolutely loved the Bushwhackers.
The crazy
Hey,
bastards.
brother Luke. Brother Butch. I used to do that in the playground, throwing my arms up in the air, bushwhacking action. I thought they were crap wrestlers. They never was really over, but there was just fun, absolutely fun. And it's weird to think that they were the sheep herders, but were two hardcore wrestlers before they joined WWE. It's very strange, but I absolutely adore the Bushwhackers. I can't. When I was thinking of the list, I'm thinking I've gone for all really good tag teams. You've got to have that comedic one. Got to have something like you went for, like the Too Cool, which I would think like was very comedic as well,
Yeah.
very fun, very crowd orientated, and that the Bushwhackers fit that bill as well. So yeah, what is your fourth? Which is your
My
next one?
fourth, Smoking Guns.
Smoking Guns, Billy. Billion. What was it? Other one?
No idea.
Ah, I do know it. There's Billy and
Billy and Billy.
I wanted to call him Bobby. It's not Bart. Bart Gun. Billy and Bart Gun.
I think that's who it was. They were the
Billy
actual
and Bart.
brothers.
Dudley Boys, says Melissa.
Well, the
Crossover
boys.
boxing hello.
Get your top five in, guys. Your top five.
I like the Dudley Boys, but when I was looking at the wrestling and stuff, I just think, yeah. I try to stay away from certain teams. So
Same.
crossover boxing. What are you reading it around my?
You tell me yours, and then I'll read it once you start. You stop talking.
What for four?
Yeah.
Steiner brothers. When
Dark
I
Knight's
first
got Steiners.
when I first started watching wrestling, obviously I was in that little crossover, like explained in the other stream when we said where I would become wrestling fans. I started watching NWA before I was really watching WWE or WWF at the time. Steiner Brothers, they were on, and it was like, who the flipping heck are these? And I'm going to make a comparison here, which probably is a bit out there, but I think if marketed correctly in NXT, the Creed brothers could be as big and used very similar to the Steiner brothers. They've got the same physical physique. They've got the same collegiate wrestling background. If marketed correctly, you could use the Creeds going forward like the Steiners were used.
So here's a question before I read Dark Knight's comment. Who would you put as? Would you put the Creed brothers with Braun Breaker as like? I don't know what like an actual term for it, but like you just said, the comparable.
They're
Why
very
not stick
comparable.
Why not stick them together? And also, before you start talking and going on one, crossover boxing 5, the Usos. 4, Heart Foundation. 3, New Age Outlaws. 2, Hardy Boys. 1, Dudley Boys. Melissa is Team Little Big. Rick Hunter saying hello to Melissa. Doc Knight saying Doom. Doom it all! Doom!
Best tag team says Ricky Hunter is Road Warriors.
Right, so what I would like you chap to do, put your top 5 in one comment so I can read it in one go. Please
Also,
and thank
guys,
you.
we want your top worst tag teams because we cannot
Yeah.
give us top 5 best tag teams, but top 5 worst tag teams.
And if you
Would you
say
think
Dark
this is
Order,
no?
you will get fucking kicked.
No, I don't mind Dark
The
Order.
thing is, right, so I'm going to go on a little rant before we continue. The thing is with the Dark Order, right, is they are all great wrestlers, right? On the last pay-per-view for AEW, right, one of the best matches on the card, not everyone will agree with me, but I know Days does and James does. The Dark Order versus the Elite was one of the best matches on that card. Hands down.
And which show? Which show?
I think it was the last pay-per-view.
I can't even remember the last pay per view.
Well, it was one of the best matches on the card, right? You tell me, Alex Reynolds, even if it was Evil Uno and 10, that match would have still been great. They are all fantastic fucking wrestlers, and
No,
plus,
I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna
it's just
dispute that.
it's just the fact that they're not getting used right. Okay, right. Enough of my ranting because I rant all day.
Who's number 3?
My number 3 is it's got to be Billy Gunn and Road Dogg.
Oh, you mean New Age Outlaws?
Yeah,
I think a lot of people resonate with them. They were at a time in the Attitude Era. They came along when it were all
yeah.
suck it and all of that kind of stuff. I kind of they passed me by, to be quite honest with you. I literally stopped watching wrestling as they were starting to really get hyped. I caught the back end of that and I was like, oh, what's all this suck it bollocks? I mean, I was going out drinking, being a typical 18-year-old, blah blah blah. And it just that never really hit me hard as much as what the Attitude Era was supposed to have done. I kind of missed the start of that whole movement. So yeah, I get why people
Crossover's
like
favourite
DX.
tag team is me and Sonny.
Jesse Jackhammer's top 5.
Yeah, I'm going to read that in a minute.
All
Dark
right, I'll
Knight
let you do it. Then.
is Rock and Roll Express and Fabulous Freeball. I don't think that's to do with them. So Jesse's is Dudley Boys, Hadley Boys, the Hart Foundations, Bushwhackers, and Degeneration X. Okay, here's my list, called Melissa. Crossover AW pay-per-views are like 20 hours long. Fuck that. Yeah, but nearly every match is good to watch.
A bit long.
What? A bit low.
The
Nah,
matches, I think they're a bit overbooked. But
some
we're
of
not
them.
here. I'm not here to slag off AEW tonight.
No, because I agree. You're not slagging them off because I do agree. Some of them
I'm not
are,
here
some
to
of them
slag them
aren't.
off. I'm not here to slag them off.
Right, Dylan's 5, Christian and Edge. Okay, New Age Outlaws. Usos, Booker T and Goldust. Was that? Oh yeah, it was, yeah.
Yeah, they would have taken.
And the Dudley Boys, Melissa's Dudley Boys, Viking Raiders, Team Little Big, RK Bro, and Braun and Nicholas.
Braun and Nicholas, best tag team ever. Braun and Nicholas. Right, my number 3. I think it is number 3 now.
It is number 3.
On 4. Can't remember. Edge and Christian. I love their comedic timing. I'm a big Edge fan. I've always gone down this kind of like weird road where I loved the Ultimate Warrior first, then Bret Hart, then it was The Rock, then I moved on to Edge, and that's how it kind of like worked forward. With me watching wrestling, I kind of attached myself. I thought Edge as a solo artist had the best matches. Him and Kurt Angle, him and John Cena, they always put on a really good show whenever they wrestled. But as a tag team, I just thought they were funny. What was it, the 3-minute pose or 3-second pose or whatever it was? Can't really remember the number. But
would you class them as the Brood as well, or is that a different group?
Oh yeah. I suppose you could just carry their career through. It doesn't really matter what gimmick they had. I just thought they were a good tag team. I thought they had a real, genuinely good mix. Obviously, they didn't have that traditional tag team name, which always kind of bugged me. Obviously, they started off as the Brood, and it was just Edge and Christian. Felt like they still needed to have carried a name with them. Obviously, you had the Hardy Boys, you had Dudley Boys, and it were Edge and Christian, who were meant to be brothers, as they portrayed them as brothers at that particular time, even though they clearly wasn't.
I mean, it could have been stepbrothers or something.
Yeah, they just how they presented them was like brothers. It's like Dudley Boys were always presented as brothers. The Hardy Boys were the only ones that were actually brothers.
Right, I am going to say, right, that I am changing my teams on the fly right now.
Okay, that's fine. We're here. This is this discussion about tag teams, though. I've obviously changed my mind a few times.
Yeah.
Melissa says Brothers of Destruction.
Are you done with your thingy?
I've done with my talk about my third place team.
So my next one is Luke Harper and Eric Owen. They, for me, when I first saw the
so you're going for the Bludgeon Brothers?
Yeah.
You're going for that one.
I don't think they won anything in the...
They were tag team champions.
Yeah, they were.
Bludgeon Brothers won the tag team championship.
Did they win it as the Wyatt family?
They won it as the Wyatt family and Bludgeon Brothers.
Well, we'll do both then. We'll do both. Wyatt family and, but mainly them two. Because them two brought, to me, like, a physical presence, and they were great in-ring workers. Like, you put Bray, who's, let's be honest here, he hasn't really shown how good he is in ring yet. He might be fantastic, but he hasn't. But you had someone like Luke Harper and Eric Rowan alongside him who were big and burly and could fucking wrestle in ring. What a formation! What a fucking duo! I mean, like, I would have loved to have been slathered in chocolate and fucking thrown in the middle of them boys.
Yeah. I always forget about the Wyatt family. I mean, once we've got this list out, we'll talk about like Wyatt family and stuff like that because I've got something to say about all that. as I talked to you last night about. So my second team is the Hart Foundation.
Yeah.
Like I said before, Bret Hart, big massive fan. The Hart Foundation was just one of them tag teams. Obviously, I like love Pink or anything. It was just that I thought he looked great. I thought he looked like somebody what had a future outside of tag team wrestling. So I resonated straight with that tag team, thinking, yeah, I like this tag team. I liked how Jim the Handful Dad presented himself, always with his goatee. I loved all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I could just see a bright future for Bret Hart. So I just like, yeah, I like that tag team. I like what they do in the ring. And then once he moved on to being a solo star, I knew instantly I wanted to follow that. I think that's what's missing in wrestling today is that we haven't had many crossover wrestlers who are going from tag teams into singles runs into the main event. We don't do it anymore. So when the people started talking about Montez Ford of the Street Profits possibly having a solo career, I thought, I'm interested. Can that be his journey? Can he have a IC title run, then get a push in the main event?
Melissa's
Yeah, I
doing
mean,
some
could
great
he have
ones
that
here.
transition?
Melissa, best tag team, Dominic and his daddy issues.
And his daddy issues. Dominic and Rhea Ripley. What's your number one? Do we need to ask? Dare we need to ask?
Ask me.
What is Nick's number one?
It won't be who you think it is. I already told you. Well, I told you two teams that I haven't actually said. What I told Dave last night, I told him Brothers of Destruction, because again, that was the sort of thing, but I don't think they had the in-ring ability Luke and Eric had. That is just personal opinion. It was a different type of wrestling compared to them. But the one I didn't say, which is my number one, Beer Money. In
Beer Money
Impact
was
Wrestling.
cool. That was James Storm and Robert Roode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. They were a good tag team. Obviously, a lot of people, if you weren't watching TNA at that particular time, might have passed them by a little bit. I always kind of like, I know a lot of people like the Motor City Machine Guns,
Yeah.
but we're around exactly that exact same
Guys,
time.
this is your like warning. 12 people in. No one is liking. Like. Now, Dave, over to you.
Right, my number one. My numero one. Numero. I can't even say the last part of that. So I'm going to. It's got to be the Road Warriors. Legion of Doom. Absolutely. As a kid, fucking loved them. The way they presented themselves with the big shoulder pads with spikes. Oh my god, they just
there
look
is no web
fantastic.
tonight, according to the thingy.
No weapon. Oh,
No,
there
no
might
web
be.
tonight due to Triple T going to his prom.
Oh right. So there's no web. Oh dear, that sucks.
No.
Oh, we can continue forever then.
I've got FM to play, Dave.
I've got sleep to do. I've got a bloody stream to do. NXT stream. Make sure you're with me for NXT later. Moldy Spoons in the chat.
Yo, Moldy.
Yeah. Road Warriors. Yeah, everybody's heard of the Road Warrior pop. Whenever their music hit, boom, the crowd would go absolutely fucking bananas. I do think
Jellyhead.
I do think they was underused sometimes in WWE. I never really felt they was as good as they were on the territories before they got to WWE. But there was bigger in NWA, but there was bigger on the indies than the war when they got to WWE. And I don't know why that they should have had that tag team title way longer than what they did. And I don't know why they didn't. It always seemed to go to the national disasters or the Money Inc. or somebody else. They never seemed to keep hold of it for so long. Even
Axe
though
and Smash of Demolition.
Can't forget Crush. Don't forget Crush. But we've done your number one. Right, the point I want to make then
Go on then. I'll let
is
you do
that
some talking.
the point I want to make is when you look at teams like Demolition, just like Rick Hunter's just said Demolition, you look at the Wyatt family, you look at Four Horsemen, you look at the Freebirds. Would you say personally that you can count them properly as tag teams
Yes.
or as factions?
Why?
Because they are, like, what I mean is Axe and Smash originals then had that third member that makes them a trio, that made them a faction. That's the same with Freebirds. There was more than one, more than two. But Four Horsemen speaks for itself. There was four of them, meaning that they could have a combination of different wrestlers being that Four Horsemen tag team anytime they wanted. Does that make that proper tag team?
Dexter Dexter Loomis and the Miz best romance tag team. So how I see it, how does the chat see it? When it comes to tag teams, the Freebird rule was obviously every member could swap around. They
Yeah.
are a faction. With
Yeah,
the
but Demolition
Wyatts,
run by that same rules
right?
when
Yep,
they got
faction.
third member.
Right, they're a faction. The Wyatt family tag team, because when they won the tag teams, the Dark Knights, not Dark Knight, the
Moldy
Moldy
Spoon.
Spoon said it. Depends if they wrestled as a faction, correct? So how I see it is, if they integrated different people, I'm using fucking big words tonight. Go me.
You've got
Uh,
big weird toilet paper. Word of the
I
day,
had my
toilet
Weetabix
paper.
this morning. So how I see it is,
This afternoon.
this afternoon, technically this morning at 9 o'clock. Right, so as I was saying before I got rudely interrupted, as I see it, when the Wyatt family uh, defended their titles, Bray was never in their matches, and it was always only Harper and Rowan. So to me,
All
that
right. To
is
counteract just what you've just said
gonna
about the Wyatt family, Bray Wyatt held the tag team championship with Randy Orton. Would you class that as still as the Wyatt family being tag champions then?
no,
Under what you've just said,
nope.
the only way that so what I'm trying to say is Eric Rowan, Luke Harper went on, as we said, Bludgeon Brothers. They went and won the tag team championship as the Bludgeon Brothers. Technically, you would say by what you've said, that's not Bludgeon Brothers, that's the Wyatt family.
That
You get what I'm
is
saying?
that's so yeah. I get what you're saying. No, it's still the White family, because at that point they were in the White family. They weren't the Bludgeon Brothers
But
at that point.
what I'm trying to say is what made the Wyatt family was Bray Wyatt. Got a second goal for Watford,
Nice.
by the way. uh, yeah, but what I'm saying is what made them the Wyatt family was Bray Wyatt. So that made them a faction. They were like Luke Harper and Eric Rowan on their own, Bludgeon Brothers, not Wyatt family.
There you go. Moldy said Harper and Rowan were always a tag team. Never wrestled as Bray in a tag team.
But what I'm just saying by the name of them being Wyatt family, it wasn't because them two was Wyatt family. It was because of Bray what made them the Wyatt family. They had a tag team championship reign without Bray, which they were the Bludgeon Brothers. They was
Right,
totally
I get it.
packaged away from the Wyatt family.
Right, okay.
Jay being Uzi. What's people's thoughts in the chats then of putting two singles wrestlers together? This
Oh,
classic example
great.
of this
Sorry,
is
Moldy Spoons made a very great point. They were a tag team within a faction.
Yeah, but they went under the Wyatt name.
Again, that was the
That made
faction, but
them
they were the
that
tag
made
team.
them a faction.
So does that
I
mean
get what
Wyatt
the
was in the
Moldy
faction?
Spoon is saying. I get that, but they still were Wyatt family. The name of that tag team, as you say, was Wyatt family. But the moment you take Bray Wyatt away from them, they're not the Wyatt family anymore.
They were
That
until they
made
actually
them the
made the
faction.
until they made the Bludgeon Brothers.
That it made them the faction. They were actually solo stars before Bludgeon Brothers got put together. They had Luke Harper have a mini,
Yeah,
like
didn't he
mid
win
card
the
run.
Didn't he win the Intercontinental?
Yeah, I think so. I think Luke Harper did hold a championship, the mid card championship at one stage. So yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, but uh, they are a tag team, but they're not. I wouldn't say that the Wyatt thing was. I've, I, what I'm saying is the Wyatt thing was a faction name, not the tag team name. They were on their own without Bray, Bludgeon Brothers, or just Luke Harper and Eric Rowan. They weren't carrying that Wyatt name without Bray.
Okay.
And what I was saying about like solo wrestlers, Vince McMahon had this strange thing throughout WWE where we'd throw some random, absolute random pairings. I'm talking about Owen Hart, Yokozuna. I'm talking about what's another example? X Pac and Kane. And then we've got Kane and Daniel Bryan.
That wasn't actually a bad tag team. That
I'm not saying it's a bad tag team, but I'm saying it's not a proper tag team. It's two solo
what is
stars.
a proper tag team?
What do you mean?
What is a proper tag team?
All right, Hardy Boys.
Okay.
Okay, Dudley Boys.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean you had when Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Ass they came up, proper tag team. Uh, Rockers,
Stu
Martinelli,
Grayson
Shawn.
and Eve Luna. Have to get that one in because they are a proper tag team.
You're frozen as you said that as well.
I hope I've got
God
a proper
damn my
horrible look.
camera.
Fuck, camera's pissing me off. Staying like that, I don't care.
Evil Uno time. What I mean is like Rock and Sock Connection. They did get a tag team name, but it's still Mick Foley and The Rock being put together. Brothers of Destruction is still two solo stars being put together for short periods of time. I might add, you had the mega powers: Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, put together short period of time. Do you people in the chat? Do you considering the fact that there's been tag teams like the Road Warriors, Doom, Dudley Boys, what have been tag teams for years, would you put these made up tag teams who've had only short reigns as tag teams in the same category as these teams that have been around for years?
Since I've got my thinking face on right now, let me think up on this.
I just think it's an interesting question. There's no proper right answer to it.
Well,
It's not
how
like
I see it,
technically I'm not saying, look, it's not a bad thing because obviously Rock and Sock Connection actually worked.
I
But
think
what I'm saying is,
like
can you put them, knowing that they've only had short stays in wrestling, I mean, less than a year, compared to these proper founded tag teams, Dudley Boys, what were dominated, both ECW, WWE, or whichever company they went into, TNA particularly.
so. Like
Can you
we never
put like
spoke
the
about.
Brothers of Destruction in that same category as these top tag teams what are
Yes,
known for tag team wrestling and still be accountable? Say, right,
I will
that
say
tag team
one
is worth
team.
as good
I
as that.
will say one team name, right, and then that should be like shut everything down. The New Day, three solo stars. As much as I am bored of them now, three solo stars
Right,
all coming together.
it's worked for them three,
Worked.
right? Okay.
It doesn't
Okay.
work for everyone. Understandable, doesn't work for everyone. But for some teams, it works. Like you can, like the bar. If the bar was around longer, which it should have been, would you put them in that conversation?
But you put New Day in there because of the reign that they had. That's for
And they've
sure.
been together what 6, 7 years.
Yeah, going to say you've got to give them that reign just because of that. That's what this is what the conversation's about. It is
So, oh, right. So here's
what
a
what
question
what.
about the New Day. Actually, I might have a good question for you here. Right.
All right, go on, fire away.
Since the New Day got together like 6 years ago, can you call them now a proper tag team? Even though they were solo stars getting together, can you call them a proper tag team now?
They've been established for how many years? 7 years
About
ago.
about about 6, 7
Yes,
years.
their humble beginnings. Their humble beginnings were obviously solo stars. Yes, I do understand that. Kofi's had more success under the tag team reign than he ever did as a solo star. Yes, he has had the WWE Championship, but still very much under the New Day banner. Same with Big E. Big E, obviously, as Big E Langston had a very successful reign in NXT as NXT champion. Xavier Woods has always been a mid card, always, even from his days in TNA as Consequences Creed. So he's never really, he's been mid card tag team all his career. He's never really, okay, the King of the Ring stuff obviously elevated him a little bit, but I don't think it did that much great for him. I think he's benefited from it more than Kofi and Big E, if I'm being honest. He's really is riding on their shirt tails, in my opinion. Without them, are we talking about Xavier Woods in the same light? Would we care about him
No.
if New Day weren't together and that faction did not work? Do you know what I mean? I think it worked because you have got that big character, which is Big E. Kofi has been around for years in the mid card, earned his due, and then you've got Xavier Woods, who's kind of sometimes I feel like he's just there. Bit of comic relief sometimes. He's got his trombone. Do you know what I mean? It's like crossover boxing says that Xavier Woods should be the 24/7 in the
Champion.
24/7 segment without Kofi and Big E. Did you see that? Nikki Cross, she threw it in the bin.
No, she
She
missed the bin.
actually missed the bin. I have seen that clip so many times, and she misses.
Only because Bailey's in it, you dirty fucker. We know what you've been doing to that. Right, so I'll tell you some scores on the doors. Right. Bournemouth beat Everton 4-1.
Wow, that's fucking interesting.
It is in the FA Cup, though. Lincoln beat
Yeah,
Bristol City. Burnley beat Crawley. Leicester beat Newport. MK Dons beat Morecambe. Charlton won on penalties. Brentford will be going to penalties. Birmingham 2-2. Borough 3-0. Hull 3-0. Coventry 2-0. Huddersfield 2-0. Stoke 2-0. Watford 2-0. And there's no League One game, so I can't tell you the best team in the world score. There is a good score in there in League Two though. 3-3 Harrogate Carlisle.
Interesting.
Also in National League, Eastleigh beat Maidstone 5-2. Another good scoring game.
All right, quick question to the chat. What solo stars now, and I probably can think of like a million, what is on the main roster, who sadly needs a storyline, would you throw together as a tag team? I'll give you an example. Well, I'll give you one wrestler to start off with, Ricochet.
Who'd you pair him with?
Well, I'd look at either Cedric Alexander, he's as good as him physically. I'm not just going to go on the because he's black as well, because that's
No,
trash.
I can see where you're coming from with that one. I can. They're both flippy dippies, or can do flippy dippies.
Yeah, you've got to kind of look at that.
Ricochet, Mustafa Ali from crossover, Dylan, Ricochet, Madcap
I put Madcap, right? Hear me
with
out.
Dolph
When
Ziggler.
he comes back, I'd put him with Boogs, Rick
Rick
Boogs.
Boogs. Do you think? Right. So here's a question.
I
Even
would
though
put Madcap and Rick Boogs together as a tag team. Imagine them as a tag team. They look very, very similar. They're very similar built. Man, you could do something with them. I'm sure they could do something with them. Jesse says Dolph Ziggler, Ricochet.
that's a good shout. Almost a Rey Mysterio. They could go after Dark
Little big.
Order.
That would be little big. That would be. That would be all over the place, wouldn't it? But the same question, we talk about WWE, we can always throw this out in AEW. I mean, unfortunately, AEW for me is overbooked with tag teams. It is fucking
Should we
ridiculous how
talk
many tag
about the
teams.
AEW tag team division?
Yeah, we can talk about it. We can talk
Because
about anything.
they have some fantastic tag
Oh no,
teams all
Acclaim.
the way
We've
down
got
the
Top
cause.
Flight. We've
Yep.
got what is it? What the party one?
Oh yeah, I know you're about
Private Party. That's it. Private Party. You've got
Revival. Who
you've
the
got
fuck are
so many.
Revival?
You've got
Sorry, Revival doesn't exist no more.
it's FTR.
Yeah, get it right, please.
It's FTR. It's fuck the revival. That's what they're called.
Fuck the world, innit? FTR. Oh no, fuck the Revival. Is that what it
It's
was?
fuck it's fuck the revival. That's the name. That's what they called them. Fuck the revival.
Same thing, different letters. No, it's not. It's like still calling John Moxley Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose no longer exists.
Yeah, yeah. We could talk about AW. We can talk about MLW. We can talk about NWA. We can talk about any
Impact.
company as Impact. Yeah, I'm not really sure about Impact as tag teams now. I mean, we could have talked lengthy about the North because they
Unbelievable
were
tag team.
really good tag team. I feel that they've kind of fallen down a little bit. I mean, who've they got now? Men wise.
Allen Angels. I'm just naming men here. You just said men wise, didn't say tag team wise.
Well, tag team wise, then. What tag teams have they got? What is that? I know one at names, but I can't. It's on tip of me. If James were here, we'd be all over this shit. But
Where is
James,
James?
I don't even know where James is. What's James doing? Where's the Chadwick? The Shield. 50-50 TV. Shout out to you. Nice to see
Go
you.
50-50.
Haven't seen you in ages. What the fuck? Where you been?
Nice to see you. To see you.
To see
Nice.
you. Nice.
Milton Machine Guns are one of the top tag teams in Impact. Yeah, they are.
Thing is, right, with Shield, and I'm going to be completely honest, I never got them. I never really felt that they were anything huge for me. I couldn't get on board with them. I didn't care enough about them. Like Dean Ambrose doing that crazy stuff. It was like, oh, okay, all right. They're going to come in, they're going to do this, they're going to do that, and all that rubbish. I mean, a lot of people loved them. I couldn't get on board. Even as solo stars, I was kind of like, am I bothered about them? No. Seth's been great. He's grown on me over the years. I like what Roman's doing now over the last 2 years as the tribal chief. I love what he's doing now. Hated him before. Dean Ambrose changing over to Moxley. Moxley's that kind of character that does the hardcore stuff. If you love that kind of wrestling, then he's right down your alleyway. If you don't, like me, I'm like, meh. I can give him a wide pass.
Can we get an I'm a Celebrity, get me out of here, watch along on? No. There's not many decent people in there.
Oh, no, there's nobody in there. They're all shit.
Jill Scott's in there.
Who's that?
Former footballer. England's women's. I think she was at the Euros.
Yeah. Yeah, she's all right, but I'm not very bothered about her. I can understand why she's in. For she's a European champion, God's sake. But there's not many other people in there what I care. It's just minor
I
celebrities.
think it was cool how they felt different to me. Well, when I was 13. Seth is always my favourite member. Mox is great. Not a fan of the hardcore, but he just seems like he's having a lot of fun. Yeah, he does. 100%. He's enjoying the fuck out of life at the minute.
Yeah, but that should. I get why that would resonate to a lot of fans, but it. I don't know. I've seen enough of Moxley to like. Have I seen one hardcore match? I've seen them all. Yes. I don't
No.
think there's anything an hardcore match can show me differently other than actually killing somebody. I mean, we've got to go back to that fucking ridiculous fucking death match thing with the fucking sprinklers. Yay. That flipping electric fence flipping bullcrap match, what he had with Kenny Omega. And you had flipping Eddie Kingston coming down to cover him from these like explosions.
I fucking, what was that? A fucking electrocution match? Is that what you were talking about? Even though that wasn't the match at all.
Oh, that match sucked ass.
It didn't suck
sucked
ass.
Fucking ass.
No, the
The
wrestling
ending sucked ass.
better. The matches,
No, wasn't
the
that
match
was
itself
not
was
whoa,
great.
Whoa. Can we? I've got to jump in. When it's an hardcore, that is not fucking wrestling. That is two
wrestling.
people literally battering themselves with flipping barbed wire and fucking thumbtacks. That's not wrestling.
So are you the same with sex then?
Well, no, because I don't flipping have sex with barbed wire and flipping thumbtacks.
No, like hardcore sex is not sex.
What do you mean hardcore sex is not sex?
It's not said by your thingies. It's not sex.
Yeah, but
because it's
hardcore
hardcore.
sex is what you use on a fucking DVD player or on the internet.
Whoa, Dave. What you do with your DVD players, you keep that to yourself, please. We don't want to know what you do.
Sex?
We don't want to know that you have hardcore sex with your DVD player.
My
DVD player blink twice if you need
knackered.
help. Because you're fucking it too hard.
Sex. When you get spunk in your DVD player, it doesn't exactly go down very well. You can't get me, pal. It's like, I don't know. Hardcore wrestling's a niche. It is for a certain set of people. Given the right circumstances, I'll accept and watch one or two death matches. But you're not showing me anything new. You're not showing me anything what I'm going to go, oh, wow, look at what they've just done there. Anybody can go through a barbed wire table, which has been set afire. We've seen it 1,000 times. Cody Rhodes has done it. Mick Foley's been put through a flaming table before. It's not new. It's not innovative. You're not breaking new ground. There's backyard wrestling what have been doing all this mainstream stuff for fucking years. Give me something new. Show me something new. Take it to the next level. Other than literally killing somebody, they won't and they can't. It's still very contained violence because they can't take it that too far. Because that'll definitely end somebody's fucking career. Moxley seems to get blooded up absolutely every week without question. And sometimes without proper reason. He's like, why is he blooded up for? It's just weird.
You're just like whinging.
About AEW. I got 3 perfect scores. Flipping it, Dark Knight. Are you cheating? I think Dark Knight is literally cheating on the predictions game. I'm going to ask for an inquiry.
Test. We need a drugs test from your Dark Knight.
Yeah, we need a drug test. I might have to disqualify you, mate. I'm going to call in VAR. You know what? I haven't written anybody's scores down, so I couldn't.
We've seen the Superplex loads of times. We've seen the announcement table spot loads of times. Still gets a pop. I was thinking that, like when you were saying we've seen all this loads of times, but we've seen most of the wrestling spots that are the same amount.
Oh yeah. What I'm saying is that give us some. All I'm asking for is an hardcore match, right? Thumbtacks we've seen. right?
So what about
They're
a
gonna use
normal
them. They're
wrestling
gonna
match?
use them. They're gonna use thumbtacks. They're gonna use barbed wire. We're gonna use barbed wire baseball bats. We're gonna use flaming tables. We're gonna do all that. When does that stop being entertaining? I know as bloodthirsty fans who are watching it going, oh, I hope they have an accident. I hope their arm comes off. I hope they, it's like, what really? Who's watching it thinking that, oh, I hope their skin shreds off? What? What the fuck? What? That's not wrestling to me. That's something fucking else entirely. I don't know. I'm just not into that kind of stuff. If you're telling a proper story and it's like these people are at their wits' end, it's like life or death. You've done something so bad that I have to tear your head off. Then yeah, great. But as a wrestling thing, nah, I can't really buy into it. I don't buy into it. It's just a personal opinion. I know people do love that kind of thing, which is fine. I get that there's an audience for it. James Chadwick is bloodthirsty enough. He loves that. I'm sure you do. But it's just, I don't know. I think I've seen everything a death match can offer, other than somebody actually dying. I have seen New Jack throw somebody off a scaffolding, and he ended up in hospital, and he eventually died. Yeah,
New Jack was a different fucking kettle of fish.
yeah. When you've seen New Jack matches where he literally cuts the fuck out of people, you've seen it all. You know what I mean? Literally, the next level is death. If you get what I mean, he's already took it to that next level. I don't know. I just yeah, New Jack was a psycho. He's 3 cases of homicide as well.
Fucking more than
Anybody what
3.
watched Beyond the Mat would know.
That was good. That TV show. I enjoyed that TV show. Beyond the Ring or whatever it was.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's Beyond the Mat is the film back in 1998. Barry Weinstein film. Not the guy what was caught upping on the
That's
red
Harvey.
on the yeah, not him. It was Barry Weinstein or something. Did a documentary film. It's on YouTube. You can actually get it for free on YouTube if you look for it.
Get you free on YouTube.
What's that?
We've seen so many great technical wrestling never gets old. Same with deathcore, but hardcore's a bit different too.
I mean, look, it's like if you love hardcore wrestling, GCW is the place for you to go. That's the wrestling company that caters for all of that. You know what I mean? Which is fine. Moxley's been over there. Cardona's wrestled for them before. You've got, is it Nick Cage, who's an hardcore
Yeah.
maniac? Do you know what I mean? If you love that kind of thing, that's fine. I mean, we have kind of gone off topic. I know we have. Because we were just like talking about how the Shield had like moved forward. Yeah, it's just like Moxley's just a kind of niche wrestler for me. If you like that, that's fine. If you don't, he's a brawler. He's an hardcore person. That does not make him. I love technical wrestling. I love a good match which tells me a story about how somebody's working on somebody's leg or arm to get to their finishing move. I kind of like all that psychology side to it. Moxley, it's kind of like, can I hit you with a stick yet? You know what I mean? That's what you're getting from that match. You just know, well, when's it going to hit him with a stick? When's he going to whack a chair over his head? When's the blood coming? You know what I mean? That is fair enough, but that's what you're getting from him as a performer. You're just waiting for, oh, when's the big hit coming? I don't know. So, what's your favorite tag team away from AEW, WWE?
I don't think I actually know any. Oh, it was the one in NWA that we were talking about the other night.
NWA.
Yeah. They're not together now.
Which one was that? Trying to think. Old tag team or new?
They're quite young. Where's James Chadwick? Someone get James Chadwick in here.
Colin James.
I can't remember what they were called, but one doesn't look like a wrestler.
Right. Okay.
They were pretty good then. They came into the marsh, an Eminem soundtrack, but I like them a lot. I also like the Gates of Agony. They look dangerous. The Samoan SWAT team or something.
Oh, Samoa SWAT team.
Yeah, they look fucking. I've
That's
never seen
Jacob
them wrestle.
Fatu and the other two, that big fat guy with a belly. What were on MLW on last Thursday? I can't remember names. The Von Erichs, MLW needs to get a mention. The Briscoes.
Yeah.
Briscoes, one of the best tag teams outside of the major corporations. Definitely hands down. Would never work for Vince. Absolutely no chance on earth. They refused every time Vince came knocking. They went, fuck off.
Yeah.
They didn't want to have. They didn't want to sign for him because they knew that the integrity of the characters that they had would be under scrutiny. He'd fuck them up. When you look at like FTR, what they planned for them, they tried to turn them into a comedy act. They were going to have them wearing these stupid, ridiculous costumes.
They were
It's just,
slowly doing that anyway.
yeah, they had that with the Usos where they were putting flipping
Yeah.
laxatives and itching powder and all of this kind of crap. It's kiddified. I did hate that period of WWE, to be honest. I don't want to see I want to see wrestling as much as anything else. I do like an element of comedy in there. You've got to have that. You've got to have a bit of entertainment. But I just felt FTR got fucked over a lot of times in WWE. I'm glad that FTR actually found their calling card now, and they are one of the best. Well, they are the best tag team in the world right now. Honestly, hands down, the best tag team in the world right now. And just nobody touches them.
Who's that? The Briscoes.
No, well, not the Briscoes. I'm talking about FTR. Briscoes
Yeah.
would be second. I'd put Briscoe second. FTR first, Briscoe second. You could probably argue Gorillas of Destiny would be up there. Vin Juice could be even up there if you wanted to use like New Japan as a basis. You know what I mean? It's kind of
New
like
Japan is a great tag team. I love seeing New Japan wrestle.
what as a tag team?
Yeah, as a tag team.
Just all the New
New
Japan.
and then Japan. Japan, right? I swear down, he's a technical monster. Where New is like a high flying machine.
Yeah, New was great. John New and Ryan Japan. Managed by John Meltzer.
Good old John Meltzer.
They got to get Meltzer. They did the John Meltzer driver. Oh my god, the Wild Samoans. That's a good shout. That crossover.
Who were the Wild Samoans?
Seeker and Aka.
That's the thing. His father's, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely one were called Seeker, and I think it's
Alpha.
Alpha. Yeah, Seeker and Alpha. They're the original ones. Then obviously it went over to the Edge Shrinkers, which was Rikishi.
And Umaga, wasn't it?
No, it was another guy first. Umaga came in as as the 3 minute warning. Rosie and him, I think.
And then they changed him over. Seeker is Roman's dad. To Umaga the Machine. And then the bless him, he died. I always forget that Yokozuna, or Yokozuna, I would say his name was. He
He's
is
Iowari.
he's related to him, isn't he?
He's a Samoan. He's a Samoan.
I,
He was.
I think
I
he's
always was convinced that he was. You know what? Actually, as a kid, I always thought for a Japanese guy, right? He's got no slanted eyes.
I mean, it's a
And I
good thing
never
to
could
think
figure
when you're
out
that
why.
age. Right, so Dark Knight's put in. On a serious note, why did Austin Theory cash in last night? It's like booking a holiday at work on your last day in the job, and they have brought you presents. Umaga and
Yeah,
Rikishi are brothers, right? Okay.
yeah, I get that point. It was a weird one. I actually watched Daze's review this morning when I woke up, and yeah, why? When you look at the bigger picture of that main event yesterday, Bobby answered the challenge. Bell never rung. That match never started. Why the fuck is Theory coming down, cashing in a briefcase? All he had to say was to the referee, look, it's still an open challenge, right? I accept. Ring the bell. All they had to do was ring the fucking bell. In he could have had still his briefcase
Yeah.
if it failed, and still had his title shot. What the fuck was the writing there?
They
Common
must have
sense,
some sort of a
literally.
story.
They made Theory look like a thick cunt. They made him look stupid. He looks stupid now because anybody else would be like thinking, why are you cashing in for, you idiot? Unless there's a way of redconning all of this and he gets the fucking briefcase back, which
I think there's a
I'm
story.
telling you now, I would absolutely fucking hate that because I think it should be done with now. He's fucked up. He's cashed the fucker in. They've redconned it before a couple of years back with The Miz when they had Morrison cashing it in. And Miz goes, no, it wasn't me what cashed it in, it was him. And they redconned it. If they do
Yeah, but
that,
how
I'm
can
not
they
going to
do
be
that
happy.
now? That's the question. Like, how can you retcon this?
I hope they don't in any way, but you know WWE and they're naive writing sometimes. I hope not. I hope it's just done now. I hope, like with the 24/7, I hope them been in that apparently is that title over because it needed to be gone. It needed to be trashed. Hopefully that's what they've done now, and they don't have hard truth in
I
a couple
don't
of
think
months
Triple H
picking
likes
it out of a
Theory.
trash bag. The Good Brothers saying nerd was horrible. Biscuits and Gravy is one of the worst tag teams. Thinking of Luke Gallows, Fetus, and that flipping character what only came alive when the ring bell rang. Biscuits and Gravy. Honestly, Spirit Squad as well. Mickey, Mikey, Johnny, whoever else. Remember them?
I didn't mind them.
Dolph Mr. Dolph Ziggler came from that. But Dolph Ziggler, before he became Nicky, was actually a caddy to Chavo Guerrero. Was it when he was doing that Darwin White? Is it Darwin White or something White? It was like a Mex, uh, like a rich Mexican pretending that he was posh, and he had the golf suit on and not. And Nicky was Dolph Ziggler was his caddy in one of the video packages. I think the Money in the Bank is moving back to Mania. Yeah, I heard that. I'm glad
So
that
they're
that's
taking
done.
that pay per view off
Yeah,
camera then.
the pay per they're cutting down the number of pay per views to hopefully do more world tour big events across the world, like Australia, Saudi Arabia, England, so on and so forth. They're looking to do more international dates, shows, pay per views, whatever, rather than, oh, we've got TLC, we've got Money in the Bank. I think they're still keeping the Elimination Chamber, which I don't mind. That there were two. You got two matches of that anyway.
You can have two matches with me.
Ooh, cheeky. In the mud, mate. Mud match, mud wrestling.
Naked.
Yokozuna passed away in Liverpool. Yes, he actually did filming for the Big Breakfast before he passed away. He was interviewed by, I think, Paula Yates on the bed or somebody like that. Or was it Paulie Yates or somebody else? I know he went on the bed with somebody. It was Yokozuna out of character. They were flirting with him. I think it actually might have been Denise Van Outen, actually, thinking about it.
Am I right in thinking he wanted to be the biggest wrestler in the world? I sent a question. What was your question?
Oh, Umbag Rikishi brothers. Where were the question? Because the last comment that you put in was
Nick and Evil Uno, overrated or good tag team? Can one boob tag with another boob and face off an elimination chamber pod? The whichever boob wins gets to wear both tag team nipple rings.
Wow, that's a great question. That's such a great question. I don't even think there's any words to answer that question. It's that great. You should put it in a box, bury it down deep so that they can find that question in 100 years' time. That's how good that question is. Well done.
Well done, William. Well done.
Well done, William. That is the best question, and that should be time capsuled. William Ency, Ballyhoo to you, my friend.
Was a Denise.
Yeah, it was Denise Van Outen.
Yeah, according to Dark Knight, but who knows with Dark Knight?
Moldy Spoon put that in.
So did Dark Knight. I haven't read Dark
All
Knight's
right,
comic.
okay. Lol, thank you, Dave. Elimination Chamber is changing to No Way Out again. No Way Out. No Way Out. They fucked up with that. Talking about factions, because we can talk about factions. I always felt that when Vince McMahon delivered the deadly poison into the WWE, NWA, first pay-per-view was No Way Out, NWO, sorry. How did they not destroy the entire show? They had them come out, they interrupted the first match, painted NWO over Ric Flair, and then that was the last we fucking saw of them on the entire show. It's like you've basically called your pay-per-view NWO, No Way Out, and you haven't fucking changed it. You haven't let these guys ruin the show. It was fucking honestly, they should have been in every match, interrupting every match, being a real destructive poison and really ruining it for us fans, stopping these matches from happening. Then you can cut back to Monday Night Raw where the wrestlers are like banging on Vince's door or refusing to wrestle because of these people what have come in, ruined the pay-per-view. They could have done that story a hell of a lot better, in my opinion.
Elimination Chamber is changing to No Way Out. So, what is the actual thing?
What do you mean?
Like
You've just totally just blanked what I've just said.
no, like No Way Out, right? Obviously, what Dave said there, it doesn't mean nothing to me. Right. No Way Out is a pay-per-view.
Yeah, but what
Right.
I'm saying is,
Yeah, I know you're telling me the story.
NWO came in at No Way Out, which is NWO No Way Out.
Yeah.
It had been perfect to have that pay-per-view flipped to NWO, so they ruined the entire pay-per-view. Not one match. They ruined one match. They came out at the start of that pay-per-view, ruined the Ric Flair match, painted NWO on him, left it. We didn't see him for the rest of the fucking show. The idea of it being NWO No Way Out should have been like, this is our ticket to actually take over this show. You know how they give them their own pay-per-views in WCW? It would have been a perfect launch pad for them. I kind of lost interest after that one match thing, thinking, well, we haven't seen him again. What's the point? It's like when Retribution came into WWE over the pandemic. You'd see them do one thing, and then they'd disappear, and you won't see them again. If they were a destructive force causing havoc, they'd cause havoc throughout the entire show. Not have one segment or two segments where, oh, look, they've cut the ring rope. Go on to the next time, and the ring ropes will be fine.
Right, well, you ruined my joke because I was going to say something like the pay-per-view's called No Way Out. What the fuck are they making the way out of? As he in a fun
Oh,
house?
you. All right, your joke works still, by the way.
Right, who's Matt Hancock? There's no point shouting it in the chat when we don't know who this guy is.
Oh, Matt Hancock is going in my celeb.
I'm a celebrity. So you're buzzing about a fucking uh, a British Parliament member. You chose to shout that in our chat
Yeah, well,
crossover.
Matt Hancock wasn't a good tag team wrestler. He teamed up with Jimmy Savile, and he's been emotionally scarred. No one cares, says Moldy Spoon. Yeah, you are correct. I thought about watching the first episode of Celebrity, and I ended up looking at it and thinking, can't be asked.
I don't mind I'm a celebrity, but like there's no one actually
Oh,
in
you got to
there.
give me somebody what's really flipping interested in
Or
there.
someone that you actually know and like. There's a one cute girl in there and she's fucking married. Like, why the fuck do we care about her when she's already got a boyfriend? Fuck that bullshit.
We only watch it so that we can watch them perv in the bikinis when they're getting showered. That's the whole point, isn't it? When Marlene Glass was it? When she was in it?
Yeah, that was a different kettle of fish, that door.
Yeah, watching her getting showered is like.
Right, so here's the people, right, that are in. Bubba Tunde, Ali Ishi, I think that's his name. Boy George. Okay, so that's he could be worth watching. Charlene White, Chris Moyes, another person that could be worth
Chris
watching.
Miles is alright. He's from Leeds.
Yeah.
He's
Jill
from my
Scott,
neck of woods.
Matt Hancock, Mike Tyndall, ex-rugby player, Owen Warner, Hollyoaks actor, Scarlett Douglas, a former a place in the sun, Sean Walsh, he could be all right to watch. Sue Cleaver, who was in Coronation Street, and Olivia Outwood, who was, I think she was in
See, there's nothing there
Only
about them.
Ways Ethics and
Oh,
Love
fuck that
Island.
shit.
So she's
Fuck
one
them
of them.
shows. Fuck them shows. There's nobody in there I give a fuck about.
I'm back. Sorry, I just watched Yokozuna and uh, Denise Van Outen on Big Breakfast.
And we just watched it back.
No one else does. Okay, but I do. Well, you might, but the rest of us don't. Feck, I'm a
Gillingham,
celebrity. Get me out of
Gillingham
here.
have beaten Brentford. Wow.
What
Nobody
a lot
picked
of
Gillingham.
shit. It's all right depending on the people that are in there. Like when,
I used to love it back in the day when you had somebody like Timmy Malleton
yeah,
and what is it? Him from Bucks Fizz, David Van David Van Day. He
yeah, I
was
think that
quite
was it.
fun. Him and Timmy Mallet were funny as shit. Just watching them trying to make up songs.
Jimmy
Uh,
Bullard was good in it when he was in it.
you've got to look for personalities. You've got to
Yeah.
try and find somebody that you can resonate with. And since the pandemic, I think they were shit. They really did not really deliver.
The thing is, like, they didn't deliver, but they tried their hardest. They just couldn't get like anyone big in, could they? Really?
Yeah, it just kind of just. I don't watch Coronation Street. I don't watch soap operas. Haven't since I became a single lad again. When you're in a relationship, you find yourself watching these shitty programs. So like you go into a show which is like Celebrity, and you've got these fucking people from these shows, and you think, well, I don't even fucking watch. I never watched Coronation Street, so I can't move. The fuck's this person?
Wrong.
Who's the
Oh,
fuck's
here
this
we go.
person from Towie?
It's Giovanna. Welcome back. Roman Reigns and Rosie were brothers too. Who the fuck's Rosie? Rosie and
Well, I
Jay.
hope you've got a better attitude this time, Giovanna. Last time you came in, were about flipping Logan Paul. You remember?
Just don't bring it up. Right. I'm gonna Google this shit.
I like Rikishi, Yoko, Umbargo, Bully Ray because they were better than the body guys.
brother Rosie.
Umaga was amazing, but it was a part of the 3-minute warning. Was Umaga.
Matt Rosie. Oh, he died. Okay, so it was his brother
Rosie.
Rosie. Yeah.
Rosie went on to be the tag team with the Hurricane.
Yeah.
Rosie and Jamal. Yes, Jamal was Umaga. Fun fact. I think I've said this before on streams. Samoan Joe was first enlisted to play Umaga.
Who was Samoa Joe?
Samoa Joe. Yes, he was first. Samoa Joe was doing dark matches at WWE at the time. There, Vince McMahon went to him. Do you want to look? Got this character. It's Umaga. You want to play him? Samoa Joe just turned around and said, "Fuck off! I don't want to do it." And that's how they gave it to like Jamal. Here you go. Do you want to play Umaga? So yeah, it was nearly going to be Samoa Joe. Little fact.
Fun fact.
Little fun fact for you. Right, looking back at tag teams, then looking at territory tag teams.
Wait there, right, before you go on, Giovanna, what is your top 5 tag teams? Can be wrestlers, tag teams from today, can be from the past. Please enter them in the chat while Dave goes on about what he's just saying before I interrupted him. Sorry, Dave. I just thought.
Right, what I was going to say is we've done everything from AEW. We've talked about WWE, past, present, and we've not talked about some of the greatest tag teams from the territories before WWF became huge, before WCW. We're talking about the NWA tag teams, and when I say that, we've got to talk about Rock and Roll Express, Midnight Express, two of the best tag teams out there, and that had the biggest feud in the territories before the likes of the big Vince McMahon movement. Rock and Roll, Rock and Roll Express were up to probably a year ago, were still wrestling together. Ricky Morton now is manager to his son, who is now wrestling in NWA. So the legacy continues. But yeah, obviously the teams like Rockers were spawned off of like the Rock and Roll Express. They're both, fun fact, Midnight Express in its original form and the Rock and Roll Express have wrestled in WWE before. Under like obviously Jim Cornette was their manager of the Midnight Express. So yeah, you've got to talk about Fabulous Vipers. We have touched on them. You've got to look at the Brainbusters WWE, which was Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard before they went over to WCW, which then they became the Four Horsemen, or part of the Four Horsemen. But they were the Brainbusters first.
If you haven't hit that like button, please hit that like button. Sorry, Dave.
British Bulldogs. The British Bulldogs, yeah, of course. Giovanna, British Bulldogs were good.
Yeah. Why were they called a British Bulldog? Were they both actual British?
Yeah. Simple. Yeah. Both Davy Boy and what is his name?
I'm Googling, don't worry.
Briscoe brothers. They're legit shooters. Yeah, we've talked about the Briscoes.
Davy Boy Smith is one of them.
Oh,
Dynamite Kid?
Dynamite Kid, yeah, that's it. But I always try and remember.
So was he actually... Was he British, Dynamite Kid?
Dynamite Kids, yeah.
Because there's some like weird stories about him.
Oh yeah, he's British. Yeah, they were both British. David Boy, fun fact, worked on Stampede Wrestling, which was Bret Hart's dad's, Stu Hart's promotion in Canada.
Wasn't he a part of that background thing?
What do you mean? Oh, what, Wrestling Shadows?
The whole Stu Hart's dungeon thing.
British Bulldog actually married, obviously, Bret Hart's sister. So yes, probably. Probably, yeah. Chris Benoit came from the dungeon. Chris Jericho from the dungeon. There's been a load of wrestlers what used to be in that Hart Founding dungeon.
I've been in dungeons, but not that dungeon.
But yeah, but you were a naughty boy when you got put in the dungeon.
Safe word was either telescope or banana.
Yeah, you kept forgetting and you called it a what? A
Uh,
monkey.
and tell a banana. Tell a banana. Tell a banana.
That one after 2 seconds. Not from we're not from Liverpool.
Yeah, they're not
Siobhan.
from Liverpool.
Eh, Liverpool. Because we support Liverpool doesn't mean we are from Liverpool. Dynamite Kid, one of the greatest ever pro wrestlers ever, but he had classics in Japan, WWE. His matches with Tiger are iconic. The problem with Dynamite Kid, though, he just let himself go. He just were into everything. He became kind of bitter near the end before he passed away. He became a bit of a bad apple. Iron Sheik, Nikita Koloff.
Just Nick and Dave. But Just Nick will always look like that.
Got Hollywood Blondes. We haven't talked about them.
Did,
Hollywood Blondes were Brian Pillman and Steve Austin.
did you know that Brian Pillman Jr. asked Steve Austin to walk him down the ring on one of the pay-per-views he was on?
Wouldn't surprise me.
I
There's
think
obviously that connection.
yeah, I don't know. I don't actually know how it went. I don't know if Austin said no or if
Big
WWE
Austin
said
is
no.
a WWE guy all over. I don't think he'll ever cross the boss.
Yeah, that's true.
He's never been one for that. He doesn't owe anybody nothing other than Vince McMahon gave him his absolute biggest break of his career. Yes, stunning Steve Austin. I always remember him in WCW. Always felt like he was a mid carder. You know, you get him into WWE, started him off as the ringmaster, put him with Ted DiBiase. Didn't quite work out. DiBiase gave him his dream move, the sleep dream, what was it? The
Just don't know.
$1 million dream. Gave him that move, the sleeper hold, and it didn't work. It wasn't getting over. And then obviously we all know the story of how he became Stone Cold Steve Austin. And look at the rise after that. That WrestleMania 13 match with Bret Hart, which launched him as the anti-hero babyface. Road Warriors, yep. We've missed out the Smothers Brothers. I don't know if you ever remember the Smothers Brothers. They were like smoking guns before there were smoking guns. I think they were called the Young Pistols. They were in NWA. Tracy
NWA.
Smothers. Tracy Smothers and some other dude. I think it was somebody Armstrong.
Ben Armstrong. I don't know. I'm making up names here. Frederick.
Armstrong. Billy Armstrong. I still have WCW magazine when I was a kid. Did you ever have the one? It promoted War Games and it had the Dangerous Alliance on because I had that one. I remember Johnny B. Bad, who went on to be Mark Mero in WWE. Johnny B. Bad was like a flamboyant wrestler with tassels. He wore makeup. He was basically Goldust before Goldust. Ron was mean. Oh, Doom. I always
Ron Killings. Ron Killings was a right bastard. To make kid to get to talk to Davey Boy Smith's daughter, connected with her. He was very sorry and regretful at the end before his death. The Orient Express Wrestling, Pat and Akio.
Yeah, there was two members of the Orient Express. There was Pat Kanaka. I think it's Pat Kanaka. There was the other KO. He left, and they brought in a masked guy, which was an American wrestler. Can't remember who that was, though, to be honest.
His name was just Nick.
It was just Nick in a mask, red mask. Managed by Mr. Fuji. It was always interesting, Mr. Fuji, because he was like manager of Demolition as well at one point. Kato. Yeah, there were Kato. Yeah. Orient Express we just used as over elaborated jobbers. They could beat the Bushwhackers but couldn't beat the Rockers. OMG, Johnny Johnny B. Bad was the rock and roll legend. Little Richard impersonation because Mark Merrow resembled him. Yeah. He used to have a cannon, little cannon thing, what used to spray like confetti out onto the audience, the crowd. Very good back in the day. Except Orc, he would smile if he'd seen his own blood. Orc and Hannibal, the Legion of Doom.
Hannibal the Cannibal.
Right, this is mad.
It's very mad. I say we end it off now because I need a massive shit and to play some Football Manager.
Oh well, we can't keep you away from Football Manager, and obviously people have just been looking at you staring in the one direction for so long.
I'm looking longingly at you, Dave. That's what it is.
Oh, you're staring into my eyes. We're close to like quarter to 11 anyway, so we haven't done too bad. We're nearly 2 hours.
Nearly 2 hours.
Well, that's not too bad, eh?
80 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you all for coming. You all fucking suck.
That's nice. No, thanks for everybody what shared their knowledge of tag team wrestling. I hope this has enlightened you with what we're be talking about. And
Yeah.
if you have any ideas of who you would put as tag teams, use the comment section below. I would love to read what you've got to come up with, what you can create, even give them a tag team name. There's a job for you. Use the comment section of this stream to come up with your own unique tag teams. And we'll give you a shout out in our next live stream if we feel like what you put. If we don't, we'll tell you you suck.
Well, they all fucking suck anyway. Apart from, I know Sonny's not here, but Sonny doesn't suck.
Well, it's not what she told me. Boom. Right then, guys, we'll catch you all later. See you all in the XD stream. I will be
Feck
live.
off, Nick. No,
at-
Dog Night. You fuck off.
I will be back. Nick won't be, but I will be back at 12:30 tonight for the NXT live watch along. We're back with NXT, baby. So
Yay,
if you want a bit of adult fun with Nick, he'll be playing flipping Football Manager. I'll be doing a live stream.
To be fair, I'm surprised I haven't messaged Melissa yet. Melissa, help me sort my team out. To be fair, I don't need I don't
I
need
ain't
help
doing
this
my
time.
own work, says Melissa.
Right, guys, I need a bag in shit. I'll probably put this phone call straight down. Right, bye, guys.